guys, welcome back to BeesDCPAdventures. So today I decided that I wanted to talk about my application process because applications for the fall program opened up earlier this week, and I've had a couple friends asking me what advice I have to give them, and honestly I didn't want to do the Spring Advantage program. I think, though, to be fair, that was just something I told myself so that if I didn't get accepted, I'd be okay. Like, I would have been devastated if I didn't get accepted. But when they ask me, I'm usually like, I don't know. I'm not you. I don't know how you interview or whatever. So, but anyway, I figured I would just share what my process was like, and then you guys can take from that what you want. So the application process for the DCP is 3 steps. There's an actual application, there's a web-based interview, or the WBI, and then there's a phone interview, or a PI. Then there's a couple other acronyms that you'll hear me saying, because it's a lot easier than saying no longer in consideration. So the first one that you'll hear a lot, or you'll see a lot if you're on the Facebook groups, is NLIC'd. And that is no longer in consideration. I said that NLIC. Sorry, long moment. So that's another acronym you'll hear me use, is NLIC. So most people rarely make it past the application. So if you make it to the web-based interview, you did something right. And that's amazing, and you should be so proud of yourself for that, because you made it further than most people haven't. And if you make it through all 3 steps and you still get NLIC'd, you've made it further than most people before you, because applications just opened up earlier this week, and I already know one person that's been NLIC'd. So, and that's out of 3 people that are applying. You know, and she turned in her application and bam, it was there. Something to think about, and I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but there's so many people that apply for this program, and only a few get in, which makes me feel so blessed, because originally what started out as something that I was applying to for fun, to be selected, I feel like so lucky, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. That's my little plug for that. So anyway, that's your application. It's an application, web, WBI, and a PI. So for the application, my advice there is to be flexible. Disney is looking for somebody that they can place pretty much anywhere. They know, they'll get to know you through the WBI and the PI. They'll get to know who you are, or like a general gist of who you are and where you fit during that, like those 2 steps. That first application is just to see what you bring to the table. So how the application is, it's just like a job interview. But after all of the basic, like, education, previous work history, and all that, there's roles. Because that's what your job is called. It's called a role. And they list all of the roles. Like, there's merchandise, you could do QSFB, which is quick service food and beverage. You could do like costuming, attractions, there's character performer, character attendant, like the list is pretty long. So you go through all of the roles and you rank them: no interest, low interest, moderate interest, or high interest. Be reasonable with these, to the point that I know if I had gotten accepted my first time doing QSFB, I probably would have hated it, because I've done food for the past 3 years. I don't like it. I like more interacting with the guests. I like selling. I love working in retail. But I don't really like the handling food, because it's just a little bit more restrictive. So when it came to QSFB, I put low interest, because yes, I would be fine doing it, but it's not my top roles. And like the ones that I did put no interest were ones that I knew I couldn't do anyway, like lifeguarding. I'm costuming. Just costuming's a lot of over the head lifting, and I have a shoulder injury. So it's probably not the best idea for me to be doing that. Plus costuming, you're not getting a lot of guest interaction, and that's something that I definitely want from my job at Disney, is to just interact with people. So that's my advice, is to be flexible. Be careful though, because there is no changing your job. So if you know that you don't want to be cleaning up code B's, probably wouldn't do custodial. Although I've heard custodial is one of the best roles that you can get. Especially if you're looking for high guest interaction, you'll definitely get a lot of that doing custodial. So that's that. You finish all that, you submit it, and then they send you, you're either in progress, analyzed, or you move on to the WBI. The WBI is a survey that you rate. They ask you all of the questions. You know, like how do you deal with conflict at work? Yes or no, I'm highly driven, strongly agree, stuff like that. Trying to get a sense for who you are through that, a survey. For your WBI, honestly, I recommend kind of relaxing beforehand and giving it some serious thought, and also make sure your answers all kind of align. Like if you put strongly disagree on one question and then like there's another question that's the same question just reworded differently, make sure that they correlate, which is kind of common sense. And don't worry about that. Like the WBI, it is intense. Don't get me wrong. Like it is probably one of the hardest survey thingies I have ever done, and I think it's just like the whole, oh my gosh, this is for Disney. Like this is real, this is happening. But don't worry about it too much. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. Anyway, so you finish the WBI, and then you'll either move on to the phone interview, and then you'll schedule that, or you won't. And if you move on to the phone interview, that's a lot further than most people before you. So, or you might get like my friend who just applied, he got an email saying he'd hear back soon, and then he ended up moving on. So for your phone interview, it's nerve-wracking. It's like, I don't know about you guys, but I hate talking on the phone. I hate it. I won't do it. If I can just text somebody or if I can do it online, I'm gonna do that. I hate talking on the phone. So, anyway, and I was dumb and I scheduled my phone interview for the same day as auditions for a musical at school. So I was already like a bundle of nerves from that because I really wanted to lead, and it just, yeah. So anyway, with my phone interview, here's what I recommend. When you schedule your phone interview time, make sure, then they tell you this, make sure you have 1 hour, because your recruiter can call 15 minutes early on time, or like anywhere between 15 minutes early and 15 minutes after your scheduled time. And your conversation can take up to 30 minutes. Mine took me about 10 to 15. So, it's just to be safe. And honestly, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So anyway, I also recommend being somewhere quiet. Don't do it while you're driving because they don't like breaking the law. And being somewhere where you can focus on what's going on. For me, my safety zone is the theater building at my school. And I was actually, and they will call you at the, like, I wasn't expecting it. I kind of was, but I wasn't. I was getting ready to walk to the student lounge because the student lounge is quiet and there's usually nobody there because it's a performing arts lounge. So that way I had a whole room to myself and I could just talk and not have to worry. I was walking there and I got the call. And so, but for me, it ended up actually working out because I was too nervous to sit still. So I was up pacing, I was walking the halls at school or like in the building, getting really weird looks for talking on the phone, but that's fine. You know, I had a conversation and my interviewer was so nice, she was so sweet. I wish I could remember her name because she was awesome. And if you get her, I loved her. And And it was really helpful too, because she asked me how I was and I told her I was nervous. And she told me there's nothing to be nervous about. It's just a conversation between you and me. Treat it like, you know, it's just a conversation between you and me, you're telling me why you love Disney and why you want this job, and telling me about yourself. And that helped so much. So honestly, that's my advice for the phone interview. Don't treat it like this big scary thing to be nervous about. It's a conversation between you and your recruiter about why you love Disney and about why you want this and what makes you unique, what makes you special. And that helped so much for me. Like, my nerves went away like that within 10 minutes of talking to her. Like 5 minutes. But, you know, and they'll ask you during the phone interview. So they'll pull up your roles and they'll be like, okay, so these are your top 4 roles. Mine were character performer, character attendant, attractions, and merchandise. And then they ask you, well, why do you want those roles? And, you know, another thing I would advise against, don't rehearse your lines so much to the point where it becomes obvious that they were rehearsed. Be prepared, know what you want to say, but don't like overly practice it. Because I didn't practice mine a lot, and I felt like I was like flying by the seat of my pants. It worked, obviously, I got accepted, but I wish I had been slightly more prepared with my answers. But yeah, that's my advice for you. And there's so many places that you can go to look up, like, for me, I looked up some mock phone interview questions so that I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to narrow in on. Granted, I forgot all about that because I didn't write any of it down. So if it helps you to write stuff down, write it down. But again, you don't want to sound rehearsed. And another thing, smile. When you're giving your interview, you want to smile because it changes your tone of voice and you just sound different. And it helps you get into that whole excited and just, you know, it's great. And after you go through all 3 steps, all that's left is just waiting and waiting and waiting. And that email, that congratulations email will come when you least expect it. For me, I got my congratulations email when I was in rehearsal. So, which was fun, because I couldn't be like, oh my gosh, because there was a scene going on. So I had to like, oh my gosh. And I like screenshot it, texted it to my mom, and then I was like, well, I don't know that I want to do it, because it wasn't a role that I wanted. But in the end, I'm really glad that I accepted. And I'm really glad that I'm going. And as of today, I have 2 weeks until I go down to Vegas, and then 2 weeks from tomorrow, I will be on a plane to Orlando, ready to meet my first roommate, Kayla. I'm so excited. And then 2 weeks from Sunday, I'm meeting all of the roommates, and you guys will probably see all of this. And then 2 weeks from Monday, I start my Disney adventure. Holy crap. Time is flying. Alright guys, so that's it for today. I feel like I rambled and rambled and rambled. I promise once I get out there, not all my videos are going to be like this. So next week, I'll probably do my bucket list. And then I don't know if I'm doing anything the week after that. If I do a video, it'll probably be before I leave. And then I'll do like a compilation of check-in, meeting the roommates, all that later. Because I'm actually getting kind of good at this editing thing. So, and bear with me for the first few videos because I'm still getting the hang of it. But anyway, I'm done talking. I will see y'all later. Wish anybody who's applying the best of luck. I hope this helped. If it didn't, I'm sorry. But yeah, I will see you real soon, friends. Bye.